get a picture perfect freeze with no whip, and I let it melt, so it's like having an iced coffee. But I fucking love Dutch Bros. My wife and I will go whenever we can, just to have like a little sweet treat. But my name is Dakota. I collect pedals. I play high gain only. I come from the hardcore scene, so that's like my preferred tone and stuff. I'm really into doom and sludge. I love Electric Wizard. I love Conan. I love the band Witch. Seer is like one of my favorite songs. I'm really into Monolord. But I don't play that music. I just do it at home for fun. So I started trying out demos with a room mic just to see how it goes. I might redo some old videos that aren't that old because I've been doing this for a couple months now, or a little over a month. But I play everything through my rockerverb 100. It's a Mark III, gains on 9. It's 828 for the settings, and then the attenuator and the volume are on 5. This is my old Mesa Recto cab. It is a Strand Slate. It has UK vintage 30s. It's my only cab with vintage 30s. I think I already said this is at ear level with it, so if you're sitting in front of it, that's how it would sound. These are, every pedal's special to me. I love pedals. Over here is the Muff overdrive. I'm bad at this. I'm watching myself. This used to come in red, but I bought that dead stock on Reverb for like $40. This one's harder to find. This was a pain in the ass. And essentially this is just two Muff overdrives in one, and you can switch between single and double. Double's cool because you can stack them and adjust them. These are not very interesting pedals. These don't do a ton. They're just like slightly one knob overdrives. That's kind of it. But when you run a high gain amp and you want a little more fuzz, these are cool. These are very cool, especially the double. But I'm going to play through both. C standard, room mic. I already yapped about it all. But my very first pedal that wasn't a TS9 or an MXR SmartGate was one of these overdrives, but it was red, like a single overdrive. And these are cool. And I'm trying to collect all the nano variations of Muffs. That's like a small goal of mine, going through that list. But I'm trying to get all like the weird ones first that I can't just buy new at Sweetwater or used off Guitar Center's website. So like, these were the annoying ones to grab first. I'm gonna play the single first. The signal chain is just straight into the rockerverb, nothing else. It's that cut and dry. I'm gonna switch it, and then that's it. It's pretty much that straightforward. C standard, I think I mentioned that already, but I'll play some riffs. is such a very simple overdrive. This one I prefer because you get two of them. It's a little more annoying to find, but I think this one's worth it. If you have any orange amp and you want like a cheap Doom setup, just crank your gain and get one of these. Either one of these, just crank your gain and do that, and you'll get a pretty good tone. It's kind of that simple. Real quick, the reason I do that is so you don't hear feedback from that. So if you play crowbar type stuff, Crowbar's famous for not using noise gates live. They constantly roll the volume off. They hit a note before they start playing, it rings out. That is a very helpful trick to do stuff like this. If you're in a band and you're playing hardcore or something like maybe punk, you don't want to use a noise gate, this is that trick. You won't get feedback doing that. The only reason we use gates is to not have feedback. You're going to get hiss with gates unless you do 4 cable. You're not doing a studio environment every time you play. A lot of times you're at a small venue or dive bar and you just have 3 pedals on a board. You can have 2 pedals on a board or just a tuner and just do this method instead. It works. I'm sorry to interrupt and give that little tidbit, but that's why I'm doing that. Just I got so excited doing this, I plugged this in backwards, and I just looked down and I saw that. So that is a common mistake, just rushing myself. It was a quick, just eyeball fix, and that's one of the reasons I run very different cables, just so I can like eyeball it. So now, start over. We all make mistakes. very clear I like these pedals. They sound good. They're easy to sound good. You only have one pedal in your chain. As far as I'm concerned, if you tuned C sharp standard or D flat standard, I think those are the same. But if you tune there or lower, you're going to be in the ballpark to having a really good like doom or sludge tone, especially if you just crank your gain on your amp. I understand that people do the whole clean thing, but I like this route. But if you can find the double, I prefer the double. The Muff alone is great. I can't recommend just the single Muff overdrive. To my understanding, the red and the green are identical. It's just when they were printed. But yeah, I only see these in red. I see these in red and green. Red and green are identical. I had a red one, and then I was starting my pedal collection as an adult, and I saw this and I was like, it gotta be the same as the red. So I bought two. I bought a red one used and I bought this one. I A-B'd them. This one was dead stock. It was brand new. It was a cool moment for me to find like an old pedal new, and I posted that on like TikTok years ago. But I kept this one just because it was new. They were identical. But absolutely love both of these. If you can find either one, scoop them. I think I see these every now and then for like 30 on Guitar Center, 30 to 40. I think the cheapest Muff pedals you can get in general on Guitar Center's website is like $36, probably like in that ballpark. But I have the Metal Muff Nano as well, and I might do a video on that one eventually. It just depends, just because I think I like that one better as an EQ, not an EQ, but like a preamp. Because at one point I just used the hot tubes and that and a gate as like my live tone through a pedal baby, and then I switched to the hot one Imperial Mini just to save space. And then when the Game Baby was announced, I said whatever, I'm running that, because I knew I could get a really enjoyable tone out of that, and it was the same size as the pedal baby. So I was like, I'm just gonna bring pedals live again. And I played I don't know how many shows with it now. I absolutely love that amp. It's literally the ideal amp for me live. But just dry ranting at this point, these two pedals, if you can find the double, I suggest getting the double. If you find the Muff, just get the Muff, whichever one you prefer. If you don't want to do the double stack thing, just grab the Muff. But this does the single, so this is like a no-brainer. But if you can't find these, and I know these are getting harder to find, just grab one of these. I see these constantly online. I don't see them new in box online, but I see them going for 50 and under, like all day. This one I got really lucky on Guitar Center, I believe, and it was like $42 or $44 plus tax and shipping. But go on Guitar Center or Reverb and just type in Muff, and then lowest to highest, and just see what pedals are there. I haven't found a Muff pedal I hated, and I eventually want the whole collection of the variations just for the nano size, because it's my favorite size of them all. But yeah, it's probably gonna do the thumbs. Hell yeah, that was an accident. Yeah. I have my iPhone as my webcam. That's like a whole thing to do to set up with my Mac Mini, but yeah. Thank you for watching and listening to me rant. That's kind of it. If you have questions, I'll respond. Hopefully this finds the right people. If it doesn't, I don't hate the people I've been talking to so far. A lot of y'all are nice. But yeah, thank you.